And what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. SmackDown continues to completely suck down on an epic level. Week after week, it continues to get worse and worse. They think that after we watch every episode of SmackDown, Will Smith or the new cast of Men in Black come over to you with one of those little Men in Black pens and erase your brain so that you don't remember what happened last week or last summer or just whenever the hell else they've done. Everything that we continue to see on a week-to-week basis, which is nothing but complete trash. Nothing but pure garbage, and SmackDown has replaced Monday Night Raw as the worst show in all of professional wrestling, not just because we are seeing The Miz and Morrison as a tag team and it's completely stupid and just an utter joke. There's nothing entertaining about it. Not just because Carmella was made the number one contender, even though we were clearly on the road to pushing Naomi towards a title run, but because SmackDown has literally become Monday Night Raw circa 2017 throughout 2019, and it is just going to continue to get worse as Suckdown starts to pave their road to the super shitdown, which is getting in the way of the road to WrestleMania. And we are going to talk about all of it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's SmackDown Review and Reaction Show. Let's bring the hammer down, everybody. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Well, here we go again. Here we are, all dressed up in blue, sitting here on a Friday night. Friday night used to be the best night of every single one of our weeks. It was the end of our work week for the most of us. We were probably getting ready somewhere around this time of the evening to get dolled up and go out and have a good time. Are you ready for a good time? That's what they promise us. They start the fucking show. Are you ready? Are you ready for an anima? Are you ready for some shit now? Some good shit. Good shit to Vince McMahon. Are you absolutely serious? Everything that sucks about what is going on in the Blue Brand right now are all of the things that we, as Sledgeheads in the Sledgehead Army, have been complaining about over the course of the last 2 years when we were talking about Monday Night Raw. What are you talking about, Mr. Nightmare Man? Well, let me tell you what I'm talking about. Number one, the Roman agenda is in full effect. The guy's not even sniffing near title contention, but he is the most important and most prevalent thing on the whole entire show. There is nothing more important to Vince McMahon than his big dog. And you know it. You feel it. You see it. Every single week, he's getting main events when he shouldn't be in the main event. He's in one of the worst told storylines in all of professional wrestling, and we have to sit through it week in and week out. Roman is still the number one guy all these years later, and even though they changed his show, it's still the same old shit. Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is wreaking havoc as the king right now. And all I see and all I hear when this giant 7-foot penis head is walking around SmackDown is flashbacks of when he was the general manager of Monday Night Raw, just causing chaos everywhere, getting in Roman's face, having six-man tag after six-man tag. 1 week he's with Dolph and Drew, the next week he's with this one and that one, and it's constantly the same shit recycled over and over. And they only made it even worse by having the big dog and the King Baron Dickhead be the main program on the show. The two things we hated the most about Monday Night Raw have been the center point and the focal piece of this show since it went to Fox, and it's been hell. It's been pure hell. What else? Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman, the 7-foot clown, walking in the shadow of the Big Show closer than anybody we've ever seen before. Suddenly, with this massive push, and we're supposed to take him seriously, you want to give him a title run, you want to give him the Intercontinental Championship, but on the way to the Intercontinental Championship, instead of showing us wrestling ability and good matches and reasons why he maybe deserves the workhorse title of the WWE, we're seeing him shaking his hips with the New Day, singing songs with Elias, acting like a giant clown. All the same shit we seen a couple of years ago, and then tonight on SmackDown he wants to remind us about all of these things. Oh yeah, over the last couple of years I haven't gotten to be a champion. I've been with little Nicholas. I've been in a tag team with a little kid. I've been a jerk off. I've been a big clown, and I've been a big asshole. But now I'm an Intercontinental Champion. That makes perfect sense. That's what everybody wanted to see. Bill Goldberg returning for a title match, not just a random match with Roman Reigns, which is what we thought. There was also a lot of fear and a lot of speculation that Goldberg was going to come just to fight the king dickhead himself, Baron Corbin, at the Super Shitdown in just a couple of weeks. But they made it worse. They're not continuing on the road with Daniel Bryan and The Fiend. They're not going to establish a clear-cut storyline for the WWE Universal Champion on his way to WrestleMania. They're going to have this skid mark of this road bump in the way being Bill Goldberg coming back for unknown reasons because his son wants him to, or whatever the fuck he said. Bill Goldberg's coming back because we're going to Saudi Arabia and we got to sell tickets, and we're going to put him in a Universal Championship match with The Fiend, a guy that hasn't been able to sustain any damage, a guy that hasn't been able to be beaten, a guy that hasn't been able to feel pain. What do you think's going to happen with Bill Goldberg? Bill Goldberg has to lose this match, right? So you're going to come back after your triumphant return and walking away in such a grand fashion, and you had your last run, and you had a championship title run, and everything is great, and you should have walked away into the sunset. And then you're coming back to lose to a guy in a mask. For no reason. There's no story behind it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just random. Oh, I'm coming back. And I heard that Bill Goldberg wants to fight The Fiend. Yeah, I do want to fight The Fiend. Why? Why? Because Vince. That's why. We have a champion that's never around. Since we're talking about it, Brock Lesnar has been around now as the WWE Heavyweight Champion more than The Fiend has been around as the Universal Champion. Same problem we had with Monday Night Raw. The champ was never around. We'd see Paul Heyman say some shit. They'd be live via satellite from somewhere, which is the same exact shit as seeing Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse from some undisclosed location on the screen until The Fiend comes out and chokes somebody out with a mandible claw, which is rare at best. Absentee champion. And when it goes with the gimmick, you can't overdo with the... No, man. You have to have a champion on your show. It doesn't have to be every week, but he has to at least be around. He should be in the main events. He should be the focal point and the centerpiece of the show, not Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin. No, but instead, they don't even know what the fuck to do with Bray Wyatt. So we'll give him Bill Goldberg, since we have no idea what to do. There are more than enough guys on that roster that could be having a specialty match with a returning legend at a ridiculous, meaningless pay-per-view in the middle of the fucking desert. Why do you have to sacrifice whatever it is that you're doing with Bray Wyatt? And what if Bill Goldberg wins? What if he wins? Where do we go from there? That is definitely a possibility, knowing the insane fucking mind of that crazy 70-year-old billionaire. He's got half his brain on a football field right now. He don't give a shit what's going on. That's why we are getting repeat shows week after week. That's another thing. Monday Night Raw used to literally be the same script from one week to another with a minor change here and there, and that's now happening on SmackDown. Instead of six-mans with Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode, and Dolph Ziggler versus Roman and the Usos, we're going to get the Usos versus Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler again. We are going to book Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin for the Super Shitdown, but we'll put it in a steel cage. I thought this shit was over a long time ago. I thought this was over at the Royal Rumble. Oops. We were wrong about that. I thought this was over multiple times. On SmackDown, we were wrong about that as well. This is just going to continue. The thing that we don't want to see. Two of the stars that we want to see the least, and they are going to be in the forefront of this show. All the same mistakes Monday Night Raw used to make. Failing with Sasha Banks. You got Sasha Banks there. Oh, but she's injured right now. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Why is she injured? Because of the way you fucking booked her. Putting her in these situations with Bayley again. It's just stupid. Instead of doing the obvious thing, having Sasha Banks turn heel, full on heel, and leaving Bayley where she was as the ridiculous go-nowhere babyface, and have Sasha Banks just stomp the shit out of her. Creating sympathy, creating a reason for people to give a shit about Bayley as a babyface. She just lost her best friend. They could have ramped up that whole thing and brought it to a whole nother level. But no, what did we do? What did we do? We're just friends again. Sasha and Bayley, they're the Boston connection. Only they're both evil now, so it's different, I guess. But then Sasha disappears. Sasha's not in the Royal Rumble. How are you failing with a woman who could be spearheading your entire division? How? No, but instead, we're gonna push Carmella again. Carmella versus Bayley. There's a story we've been telling. What? The New Day are still the tag team champions. The New Day, the longest reigning 7-time world tag team champs. Unnecessarily so. Sure, the division's dog shit, but don't you think over the course of the last couple of months, instead of seeing Otis trying to get laid, we should be seeing Heavy Machinery trying to score gold before they're trying to score with women? Maybe if you're walking around with some championships on your shoulder, the girls will be dropping their drawers for you. Anybody else starting to think that Otis looks like Brock Lesnar's fat little brother? Or is that just me? This show was an abomination of professional wrestling. It was fucking boring from start to finish. Oh, but the tag team match was really fun and exciting, bro. No, it wasn't, because the people taking part in this matchup have nothing to offer me. They do not have my interest. If I have to see the Usos and Roode and Ziggler in the ring again in any capacity over the course of the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna fucking oos myself. Or right off this planet. Use your brains. Use the logic. Change things up. Don't just do what you've done before. And don't do what you're doing on the other show as well. Sheamus is now just Aleister Black on SmackDown. There's an Aleister Black on Raw. There's an Aleister Black on SmackDown. You gave him this little mini program with Chad Gable. He defeats Chad Gable after a couple of mediocre matches, and now he's beating jobbers in the ring with a quick bro kick. On Monday Night Raw, Aleister Black had a nice little program with Buddy Murphy, got him over, put him in the spotlight. Now he's squashing jobbers with the Black Mass kick. Can we do something different here? Can we try? No, they want to spend their time worrying about chopping off Buddy Murphy's name. They want to just call him Murphy now. This is what's important. No, we got to focus on changing the WWE network and maybe taking the pay-per-views off the network. What? This is what you want to focus on? This is what Vince McMahon is talking about earlier today and all day yesterday? You got a show tonight, bro. The fact of the matter is, if you improve the show and you make the show better, everything goes up. You shouldn't be trying to manipulate people into watching by offering free months of pay-per-views on the network and trying to sell things here to make more money and doing $2.5 billion Fox deals because you're not making any fucking money. You gotta generate the money by making a good show. You make a good show by building new stars. You build new stars for a new generation of fans to latch onto so that they'll take fucking money out of their pocket and throw it at you to be a part of the WWE. Even as a fan. They'll buy merch. They won't care about $10 tubs of popcorn and $15 bottles of beer. They'll just go out and do it. Because the show is awesome. That's what I used to do back in the 90s. I didn't give a shit what it would cost me. We're going to go to Raw? Hell yeah, we're going to go to Raw. Somebody's going to get fucking stunned tonight. What reason do you have to want to go? Maybe you want to pick up a can of dog food to bring home? That's why you're going to SmackDown? You're going to get some scraps from ringside to bring home to Fido? What reason do you have to give a shit? You work your ass off all week, just like I do. You make a decent amount of money, you're getting through. You're paying your bills, you're doing your thing. For the most part. Why do you want to waste money on a night out where you're going to be coming home in traffic, in the parking lot, in the rain for the most part, or whatever the weather calls for in Salt Lake City or in the middle of a blizzard? To come home disappointed and be all pissed off in the car, in the bad weather, in the traffic, when it's over. Starting your weekend in a shit way at a SmackDown. Why? Why? If you give people reason to go, the house show gates will be up. The network subscriptions will be up. Merchandise will be up. You know what else will help merchandise? If you get a creative crew in the merchandise department that can do a whole lot more than minimalist bullshit garbage t-shirts. I've never seen a crop of merchandise that has been so lackluster and underwhelming and is disrespectful to the talent. It's disrespectful to the talent involved. Did you see this Bliss Cross applesauce bullshit t-shirt? Looks like it was made by a 3-year-old. And you wonder why nobody's buying merch. Don't fucking tell me nobody's buying merch. I still have a hard time getting my hands on a Fiend mask. How long was it sold out? The Firefly Funhouse puppets, you couldn't get any of that. You know why? Because it was cool, it was new, it was different, and people wanted it. So people bought it. And as soon as you stop doing anything cool with it, now we got the cool new thing, we don't need anything else anymore because you don't do anything else cool and new and unique. Bray Wyatt is the prime example of that. Here's a guy that went from making zero in the merchandise department to being the top seller. It's all in the characters. It's all in your storyline and in your talent. This bullshit show you put on tonight is not going to get people to care about the WWE. In fact, it's doing the opposite. It's making diehard people like myself who love and live and die with WWE product just want to turn my TV off. I would have much rather spent my evening trying to catch up on this Witcher show that I'm trying to get into, which I'm having a hard time getting into that. To be honest with you, some of you guys might be into it. I'm trying. It's just, it would have been more worth an effort than going through 2 hours of this shit. And the fact that I can get through 3 hours of Monday Night Raw in an easier fashion than going through 2 hours of a SmackDown that's bringing me down memory lane of some of the worst Raws I've ever been a part of as a fan. I don't want to be a part of it at all. God damn. Why do we bother? Why do we do it? It's an addiction. It's an addiction you can't fight. When you're a wrestling fan, you're a wrestling fan. You're going to tune in, you're going to be disappointed, and then we're going to all come here. And we are going to talk about it. Let's talk about this show, which was just fucking ridiculous. We're just going results. Really, there's no reason to delve into anything because nothing happened. The Miz and John Morrison re-debuted the Dirt Sheet by doing this little Once Upon a Time in Hollywood inspired vignette, which was fucking stupid. It wasn't funny, it was stupid. And you know what? The Miz with John Morrison is not coming off in its immediate incarnation right now as I thought it would. These guys were pretty good when they did this last time, but they were younger, they were more arrogant, they weren't family guys with fucking wives. And they're turning into the new DX version of the dirt sheet. You know what I mean? Remember how Shawn and Hunter were fucking really cool as DX, and they were flirting with broads and going to strip clubs and being really edgy and arrogant and asshole-like? You know, that was the Miz and Morrison. They were young and brash and arrogant. They got in your face. Now they're just like out there having fun and making bad corny jokes, and I have to see fucking Mr. Dad Miz? Why? Just do what you know how to do. Go out there and deliver promos. Why are we making these ridiculous segments? They're trying too hard to be funny. You can't try to be funny. You just gotta let it go. It's either gonna happen or it's not. And let me tell you something. That segment, the whole beginning, John Laurinaitis was in it. Lance Storm was in it for a second. Who cares? It was great to see Lance Storm, but everybody else that popped up in this thing I could have done without. Not really funny at all. You're gonna, oh, this was excellent. This was good stuff. No, it wasn't. It was stupid. Really, really dumb shit. Made me feel like I was losing intelligence by watching it. And I was embarrassed for The Miz. And for John Morrison. Watching this thing. Ridiculous. All for the New Day to come out and get involved, right? And next thing you know, Morrison and Miz are bragging about being the best tag team in the world. The Usos came down to the ring. They pointed out that Morrison and The Miz have never beaten the Usos. So now I'm like, okay, we're going to get the Usos versus Morrison and The Miz right now, which is great. But that's not what we got. We got Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode coming out of nowhere, attacking the Usos and jumping. The New Day was The Miz and Morrison. So now I also thought, all right, well, they're going to give us an 8-man tag again. But they did something far worse, and they just gave us a tag team matchup that we've seen 100 times in the last 2 weeks. The Usos defeated Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode in a match that we could have really done without. Didn't do anything to advance any stories, didn't do anything to make me care. Could have been as fun of a match as you thought. Oh, this match was fun. This match was great. It was real exciting. Well, yeah, the Usos are in there, all right? And Bobby Roode's no slouch, and Dolph Ziggler knows how to wrestle, but I'm bored with this. I'm bored with it. They recapped Roman Reigns and the Usos and the whole King Corbin dog food shit because seeing it last week wasn't enough, of course. We got to get a second helping of Alpo down our throats. All to show why Baron Corbin is mad, because nobody watching tonight would have any reason to know why Baron Corbin is pissed off this evening. We have to go relive this whole entire thing. So, Baron Corbin's pissed off, and he goes and attacks the production truck because he wants to know who played that footage, who played that video. And it was the production guy, and he's like, I'm just doing my job. Oh, you're just doing your job? And then he got a little smacked around a little bit and thrown down a flight of steps. Not a very big flight of steps. You know the little bit of metal steps that go up to a production truck? It's maybe about 10 steps high or so. They pretended to throw him down these steps because Baron Corbin was mad that they showed his embarrassing moment. And the most embarrassing thing about this whole thing was having to see Kevin Dunn and his giant ridiculous teeth, who are there on the prowl, ready to take SmackDown and make it the worst show of all time, alongside Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon. Don't appreciate ever having to see that unibrow beaver bastard. And all of this was so that Baron Corbin could then come out. He's going to address the fans. He's going to get pissed off. He's going to do some shit to fans in the audience, which is going to call out Roman Reigns to save the fans and save the crew and save the day. All to announce a steel cage match between these two assholes. And if this isn't the blow-off, and if this is not the very last time that we have to see this shit happen, then don't even bother. Don't even bother. I'll just wait for the next one. I'm going to tune into the super shit down of Suctitude to watch these two morons go at it in a cage like I haven't seen them go at it enough by now. What's going to be more intense than dog food? Oh, let's actually do a real wrestling thing now. A cage match. Gives a shit. Elias. We kind of glazed over this. Elias comes out to the ring. He's going to fight Elias. He's going to fight Cesaro tonight. Why are we still trying with Elias? This guy is boring as shit at this point. You have no reason to care about Elias. We've seen his up and down, stop-start nonsense, heel baby face giving the Big Show and Braun Strowman a run for their money in the What Am I This Week department. What's my alignment now? That should be the name of his new fucking album. Elias, what's my alignment? Now. And forever. I don't care. The fact that this man is being put in matches with Cesaro and winning is just wrong. It's wrong. Cesaro is one of the very best they have. He should not be being relegated to enhancement talent status. He should not be being put in there to put over Elias when he himself is not over in the slightest bit anymore. And instead of having Sheamus coming back kicking around jobbers and people half his size, he should have teamed up with his old buddy. Should be The Bar with Sami Zayn as their manager. And then Shinsuke Nakamura, and there you have a group of 4 that could have been something special on SmackDown. You're not doing jack shit with Rusev. He's in the middle of contract disputes. Throw some money at him and put him in something that means something and throw him in there. And have an un-American type of stable. Or whatever the fuck they were called. The Foreign Legion or whatever they were. I don't care. It would be better than watching them all be a bunch of losers. Rusev is a loser. Sami Zayn is a loser. So much so that they relegated him to a managerial role because they don't know what to do with him in the ring. Shinsuke Nakamura is a loser in the WWE. Cesaro, loser. Sheamus, loser. Like, throw the Losers Club all together and make them a thing. That would be more worth your time, more worth my time, than watching Elias beating a guy that is twice as good as he'll ever be, and 3 times as good on a Sunday. Ridiculous. It's just a waste of everybody's time. Elias defeats Cesaro. Who cares? So we go on, and they show Bill Goldberg getting ready for his interview. Bill Goldberg, big Bill Goldberg, baby. Gives a shit. This is where King Corbin comes down. Right, we're supposed to be going to Goldberg, but King Corbin comes out. So I'm like, all right, here we go. Corbin's going to interrupt this interview, and he's going to be Bill Goldberg's challenger for the Super Shitdown, and I really don't care. I care just about as much as I do that match as I do about the match he's going to end up having anyway. It's absolute zero shits given about any of this going on. So, Baron Corbin comes down. He gets in a fan's face who was happy that Corbin was covered in dog food, much like many people were. I wasn't happy. I wasn't sad. I was actually more sad just for the state of professional wrestling, that it was actually happening again. His feelings, I didn't give 2 shits about. He then took a fan's beer and then poured it on some other fan. He was taking things over the line with the fans in the crowd. Roman Reigns' music hit. He attacked Baron Corbin. They fought around ringside. He got hit with... Reigns hit Corbin with a drive-by, that is. And then Corbin ran off like a thief in the night. Reigns grabbed the microphone because, yeah, we need to hear the big dog barking. He called Baron Corbin a coward. He agreed to face Baron Corbin in a one-on-one match and challenged Corbin to a steel cage. Wow. Great. I'm so excited. Bill Goldberg finally decides to show up via satellite. Goldberg said he watched the Royal Rumble and it was very impressive because he's never been in a fucking Royal Rumble before. He's never seen one in the 40 years of fucking history in the Royal Rumble. Oh, I watched it this year and I was impressed. What was impressive to you in the Royal Rumble match that made you want to come back and challenge Bray Wyatt? Or were you talking about the pay-per-view in general? Watched the Royal Rumble and was very impressive. So Brock Lesnar is busy with Ricochet and Drew McIntyre. Does that mean he wanted to fight Brock Lesnar again? Was that his original intent? But then he turned his attention to Universal Champion Bray Wyatt. Goldberg was about to challenge for the Universal title. He looked like he was about to throw it out there, and then the Firefly Funhouse interrupts with a breaking news segment, and Bray Wyatt now is sitting there like a Fox News break-in emergency session, pretending to be a news anchor, and he agreed that the title match will be at Super Showdown. He then tried to interview Bill Goldberg, asking some ridiculous sort of questions. Goldberg snapped pretty quickly. He says he doesn't care about his mind games, and he's not here to play with Bray Wyatt. He pretty much just told him, "You're next," and then walked off in Goldberg fashion. And the worst thing about this whole segment is that it happened and that it's leading towards a match that I don't know where they're going. I really don't. I don't know what the point of this is. I don't know who's going to win or why and how they're going to get around it. And if they're paying Bill Goldberg a shit ton of money to show up in Saudi Arabia just to lay down and look up at the lights for Bray Wyatt, you're wasting everybody's time. How entertaining of a match could that possibly be? There's going to be no caveat to it. There's going to be no special stipulations added to it before we get there, as far as I know. That might change by the time February 27th rolls around. But we'll have to wait and see. In another thing on this evening that made no sense, Daniel Bryan is sitting around moping. He's still trying to wrap his head around the fact that he couldn't solve the puzzle that is known as the Fiend. So, of course, we'd see Heath Slater come in to console Daniel Bryan because, you know, that's a thing that would happen. A fucking loser who hasn't had a match in years trying to tell a guy who's the biggest act in all of the company outside of maybe the Fiend how to get through it. It'll be okay, bro. What's up with you, man? What's up with you, Daniel Bryan? Why are you doing that? Why are you challenging Bray Wyatt? You're crazy. That's kind of crazy. You should have known. It's kind of pretty much what Heath Slater was alluding to. Telling Daniel Bryan that everything that happened to him was his fault because he couldn't and shouldn't be challenging the Fiend Bray Wyatt because he's a scary dude. Daniel Bryan was very annoyed by this and challenged Heath Slater to a match right now because that's exactly what we need on SmackDown. Daniel Bryan versus Heath Slater. That's going to bring the viewers. That's going to rise the merchandise sales up for AEW. This week in WWE history, they're bringing this shit back for some reason. They wanted to show us some memorable moments because they don't know how to make any memorable moments. So they're going to show us some of the stuff that made us wrestling fans to begin with. This one focused around Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant's main event match on February the 5th, 1988 on NBC, which is a great moment. I remember watching it. I remember being in my bed, in my bedroom as a little kid. I can see it all around me right now. The glory days of professional wrestling. Daniel Bryan defeated Heath Slater with the greatest of ease, applied the yes lock for the win. Then they talked about Braun Strowman winning the Intercontinental Championship, and I almost fell asleep. Renee Young interviewed the new champion, Braun Strowman, in the ring, and he's getting a "you deserve it" chant from all the fucking clowns in the audience that are a bunch of just sheep that have no idea what they're doing there. And you're just there to do what has become your part It's your part to play now, and you know, oh, I'm going to go to WWE, so I want to say these certain phrases. I want to shout, yes. I want to say, you still got it. I want to say, you deserve it. You don't chant these things to people who don't fucking deserve it. What makes him so deserving of it? Clowns. Ridiculous. He said winning this title was his greatest accomplishment. Of course it is. We know this already, because you've done nothing up until now. Then you wanted to list all of the nothing. Oh, I won the greatest Royal Rumble. I flipped ambulances. Still not tell me anything important about wrestling. Oh, and I won a tag team championship at WrestleMania with an 8-year-old. Take your fart show somewhere else, will you please? Because you stink. And I don't give a shit. I'd rather watch a fart cloud sifting through the wind than watch Braun Strowman as the Intercontinental Champion. It's like sacrilegious to me. It's disrespectful. Do you think Andre the Giant would have been a believable Intercontinental Champion? Some people are clearly made for certain things. Braun Strowman and the Intercontinental Champion? No, it's like oil and water. Just shouldn't go together. And they're not going to meld well. Shinsuke Nakamura wants to have his rematch, so Sami Zayn would come out, demanded the rematch for Nakamura. Strowman agreed to the match right now, but Sami's like, no, we're not going to do this right now. We're going to do it next week. Because, maybe they want to try to build anticipation. But I don't give a shit about any of it. And even if Shinsuke Nakamura wins the championship back, who cares? That Intercontinental Championship that's around the waist of Braun Strowman right now means zero. Pop diddly squat. Nothing. The one that they got rid of, that one has lineage. That one has meaning. That one goes back years in the history of the WWE. This one is a cheap knockoff of the AEW World Championship, and it doesn't mean shit. It's a trinket. It's a toy. No reason for anybody to want it. Just because you call it an Intercontinental Championship doesn't mean it is. Every belt in its new transition phase, in its new form, needs to be built up in its own way. That's why there are certain WWE Championship belts that you love and other ones that you hate, because some were built up correctly and are burned into your mind with some of the greatest moments of pro wrestling, and others spun in the middle. And you wanted to throw them in the trash. Just like I want to do with this Intercontinental Championship. If I walked into the WWE tomorrow and they said, hey, Mr. Nightmare, we'll make you the Intercontinental Champion tonight, I'll be like, no! No. A, I don't deserve it. I haven't earned it. And B, it's a piece of trash. Give me back the old one. That's the Intercontinental title. They showed Daniel Cormier in the front row because that's what pro wrestling needs. More fucking outside idiots like Tyson Fury and Daniel Cormier for people to sit there and go, oh, are they coming to the WWE? They're going to come to the WWE and embarrass themselves and look like a bunch of jerk-offs in a world they don't understand? Pretty much. Gives a shit. I'm on fire tonight. We see Otis in the back. They want to give us a montage of Otis getting ready for his Valentine's Day date with Mandy Rose. And he's in the back. He's lifting weights. He's eating steaks. Tucker is trying to make him understand that you can't eat your steak with your fingers when you're on a date with a beautiful lady. So he's telling him to use your utensils. And then they flip the table over. And it wasn't really much to this. It wasn't as funny or as clever or as cool as everybody made it out to be. Oh, it's so funny. Did you see what Otis did? He's a fat guy and he's trying to nail a pretty girl. And he flipped the table with his belly. It's not funny. It's stupid. Let's just move this along. It was unnecessary. I would have much rather seen Heavy Machinery out there kicking ass in a tag team matchup that maybe Otis would have dedicated to Mandy Rose. 1 week before their epic date. I'm going to show you what I can do in the ring. Show you how I can move. And then he can roll his fat all around the middle of the ring. There you go. I just wrote gold for you. And you wrote dog shit, WWE. Doesn't take me long to think of these things. In fact, I think of them most of the time on the fly, just like right now, and that would have been infinitely better. More interesting, more entertaining, and at the same time, building up the tag team itself by giving them a needed win in the division. Idiots. Sheamus defeats Apollo Crews like he's a jobber. Apollo Crews needs to leave the WWE immediately. Just like everybody else. Here's a guy that they totally dropped the ball on. He made a nice little splash in NXT. He was called up way too soon. He was used sporadically here and there, and he was on the cusp of possibly getting over. I've told you guys on many occasions on this very show that the guy's just a little bit too smiley. He's a little bit too happy. He needed to get a little bit of an edge. He needed to get a little angry. Maybe get himself a nice little heel manager. I thought maybe if he paired himself up with Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush at one point, that would have been a nice way to maybe go forward with this, instead of making him go more towards the Titus O'Neils of the world. We didn't go that route. And now this poor guy, who's got talent by the... Oh my God. The measurement is almost insurmountable. The guy's ceiling is immeasurable. And he's been doing nothing but eating craft dinner in the back at the catering tables. And he's been doing nothing but, when he does get out there, laying down on his back. Even when he goes out there and puts on a great fucking match. All for Sheamus to be the blue version of Aleister Black. Wasting everybody's time. You're wasting Sheamus' time. You're wasting Apollo Crews' time, and you're making him look like a schmuck, and you're giving him nothing but a reason to leave, and you're wasting our time as fans. And you're trying to tell me that Apollo Crews isn't at least as good as Chad Gable? Chad Gable gave Sheamus more of a fight in 2 instances than Apollo Crews did here tonight? The bigger, more powerful of the two? Then you want to follow this with a fatal 4-way #1 contenders match for the SmackDown Women's Championships that features Carmella, Naomi, and Carmella, Alexa Brooke, and Dana, and oh my God, I'm so mad I can't even get these broads' names out. Let's try it again. Carmella, Alexa Bliss, and Dana Brooke. 3 fucking blonde women, all of which have no business in a #1 contenders match for the Women's Championship. Especially coming off of last week and the intentions, the seeming intentions of the WWE to go forward with Naomi in this scenario. She already had a thing happen between her and Bayley. They already started to tiptoe towards that, and now we're going to veer completely to the left. We're going to make a right at Albuquerque right now, and we're going to go with Carmella. We're going to go with lazy-eyed, Corey Grave, dick-sucking Carmella. That might have been a little much, but I don't know how else to describe her to you guys, because she doesn't do anything. She hasn't been wrestling all that much. She's not that great. She has been a 2-time SmackDown champion already in the women's division. Why are we doing this again? There are tons of other females, and the fact that you just took a shit on Naomi right now, why'd you bother bringing her back? Why bring her back in the first place? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. This is the biggest logic gap in the entirety of the show, and it gets the poop hammer. It gets the poop hammer. Not just because Carmella gets an unnecessary and unneeded win that doesn't make sense, but because you had the answer in the match. Dana Brooke, not the answer. Alexa Bliss, isn't she doing something with Nikki Cross? And then Carmella. Out of the 4 women, there was one clear person to pick. There was only one worse decision than Carmella. At least they didn't go the Dana Brooke route. But how dare you? Like, I feel insulted for Naomi. I don't understand at all. The crowd was clearly behind her. She's a former champion herself. She goes and wins the championship from Bayley at WrestleMania, brings back the glowing women's championship, and off to the races we go. Some of the women coming back by then, maybe we can get Naomi versus an Ember Moon, Naomi versus Asuka, Naomi versus Kairi for the championship. It'll be different at the very least. Three fake blondes and Naomi. And they didn't go with the obvious answer. There's no forgiving of that from this guy. That was a slam dunk. And you blew it. You blew it. The fans weren't happy with this at all. Bayley was on the outside commentary. She would get involved in a few areas in this Fatal 4-Way, not that it was needed. Carmella would hit the super kick on Naomi and actually pin Naomi for the win. So it's not even like she pinned Dana Brooke or something like that. Then you're going to have some clown, I'm sure, in the comments. Oh, well, they're probably going to go with a feud with Carmella and Naomi going forward. No. Carmella is unnecessary in this recipe. There's too much spice in this soup. All you needed is one challenger, one champion. I don't care that Bayley and Carmella were friends on Total Divas. Who watches that shit? Who cares about Baymella? Nobody. Just like nobody gives a shit about Bliss Cross Applesauce or Nia Jackson, whoever her best friend is going to be this month. Nobody gives a shit about any of that. We want to see good women's wrestling. We want to see the top most athletic women in the top most athletic spots, and that is definitely not being the focus here. It is definitely not what they are doing. After the match, Bayley jumps Carmella from behind because, they want to try to give you a reason to give a shit. But you don't, just like I don't. And that is your SmackDown review on this very, very annoying February the 7th, 2020. I'll tell you the truth, from the minute I woke up today to the minute SmackDown ended, today has been a real shit day. You ever just have one of those days, nothing has gone in your general direction, nothing major, to really complain about, like I'm breathing, I'm alive, I'm still here, but, like certain things that were supposed to get done today didn't get done because of forces outside of your control that just send your life into a tailspin. And then I can't even fall back on my wrestling to make me feel better at the end of the night. As SmackDown, as I've just proven to you over the course of the last 45 minutes, is the hands down single worst professional wrestling program on the planet. It is also, ironically, the most expensive wrestling show on the planet and the biggest waste of money that the Fox network has ever spent. It's just a colossal failure. And it's only getting worse. And the fact that we are on the road to WrestleMania and this is the type of stuff that we are seeing happen, man, it ain't gonna get better anytime soon. It's supposed to be firing on all cylinders right now. This is the hot time of the year where all the juices are supposed to be flowing and all the ducks are in a row and all the machines are well oiled and we're going to get down through the station perfectly. But that never happens with the WWE. Not anymore. That's it for SmackDown. I really, really hated this episode, and I'm really, really going to hate it when I see it again next week, when they take the script out of the trash can, dust it off, shuffle it up a little bit, and present us with the exact same shit. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team. Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you. And if you are not already a member of the team and one of my 2,000 plus sledgeheads that know when you want your wrestling news and reviews full of fun and entertainment and completely bullshit free, that Sledgehammer TV is the place to be. So hit that subscribe button right now. Don't forget to hit your notifications and make sure all your notifications are on so that you don't miss a thing as we continue to bring the hammer down on the world of professional wrestling, one show at a time. And then if you had a good time, if I made you laugh, if I made you cry, if I made you understand why SmackDown was such a suck down and the super shit down is ruining everything, smash that thumbs up right now. Let me know you had a good time here tonight. And then share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over this beautiful wrestling world, especially if they need a place to go and vent their frustrations with just how terrible this stupid show is. Also, don't forget to check out everything else on the channel. The AEW review went up yesterday. The Monday Night Raw review is live as always, following every show Monday night, and we are going to keep kicking it into high gear as the road to WrestleMania and the road to Revolution means we never stop. We never stop, and we don't stop till we reach the top, and you can help us get there. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you all for your continued love and support of this channel. Without you, there is no me, and I can't thank you guys enough for being here for this crazy ride as we continue and begin this 2020 in one of the craziest ways possible. I mean, in wrestling wise, just in life altogether. If you're a citizen of the United States, you know how crazy this year has started off as an American, and I'm afraid of the rest of this year. Guys like Vince McMahon are ruining the world all over the place. Nowhere is safe. My friends, is gonna do it, and we are out of here. We will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. And in case you didn't notice, rocking the Baby Yoda. Mandalorian Season 2 coming in October. Oh, we might be starting a whole new channel just for that. Have a good one.